predicting every single winner across WrestleMania 42 for both Night 1 and Night 2. We are now less than 2 weeks away from the spectacle, and everything is finally falling into place. The full match card has been revealed, giving us a clear look at what to expect across both nights, with 7 matches lined up for the first night and 6 for the second. So let's dive straight into Night 1 and break things down piece by piece, shall we? First up, Women's World Title Showdown. Stephanie Valkyrie versus Liv Morgan. Stephanie Valkyrie is set to defend her Women's World Championship against Liv Morgan, and honestly, hasn't Liv been on an unbelievable run lately? Ever since returning from injury at Survivor Series War Games 2025, she's been operating on another level. Winning the Royal Rumble earlier this year gave her the golden ticket, and she chose Valkyrie as her WrestleMania opponent. Their rivalry has gotten deeply personal on Raw, with tensions rising week after week. But then again, Valkyrie, also known as La Primera, has built serious momentum since capturing the title late last year. The crowd seems firmly behind her, which raises a simple question. Do you really take the title off someone who's this hot right now? It feels more likely that WWE keeps the championship around her waist at the grandest stage. Next, No Rules Grudge Fight. Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre has fully embraced his role as a dominant heel, and his feud with Jacob Fatu has been nothing short of explosive. After losing the undisputed WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes, effectively closing that chapter, McIntyre now seems laser-focused on destroying Fatu. Their unsanctioned match at WrestleMania promises chaos, but here's the thing. Fans were not happy when Drew lost his title so close to WrestleMania. Could WWE be looking to make up for that? It certainly feels like a victory for McIntyre would balance things out, but do you think Fatu should take the fall here? Moving on. Women's Intercontinental Title Clash. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. AJ Lee's return has been dominant, to say the least. She's had Becky Lynch's number every single time they've met, even forcing her to top out at Elimination Chamber to win the title. But here's where things get interesting. Does AJ really plan on sticking around long-term? If not, this could be the perfect moment to pass the torch. Becky Lynch getting her first win over AJ on the biggest stage would be huge, wouldn't it? It feels like the right moment for a title change. Now, Clash of Titans. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Gunther's shocking return and brutal attack on Seth Rollins completely shifted the landscape. Rollins was moments away from delivering another stomp before Gunther intervened and unleashed a vicious assault. This sets the stage for a massive encounter, but consider this, it's Rollins' first match back from injury. Would WWE really bring him back just to lose? Probably not. Gunther has been built strongly enough to absorb a loss, so expect Rollins to come out on top. But what do you think? Should Gunther continue his dominance instead? Next, Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Chaos. Women's tag titles on the line. Nia Jax and Lash Legend will defend against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and the Bella Twins. This match has been pure chaos in the build-up, with attacks happening left and right. While the Bellas are legends, do they really need another title run at this stage? Probably not. Bayley and Valkyria, on the other hand, could really use this win to rebuild momentum. Wouldn't it feel like a fresh start for both of them? That makes them the most logical winners here. Up next, 6-man tag showdown. LA Knight and the Usos versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed. This one has been fueled by outside interference and unexpected alliances, especially with IShowSpeed inserting himself into the rivalry. The Vision, made up of Theory and Logan Paul, has had a rough year with injuries slowing them down. So here's a thought. Wouldn't a WrestleMania win re-establish them as a serious force? It certainly would, and it would also prove their earlier title win wasn't just luck. Expect their team to pick up the victory. Then we have the main event spotlight, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Randy Orton has been more ruthless and calculated than ever, especially against his former protege, Cody Rhodes. With Orton chasing his 15th world title, the stakes couldn't be higher. Meanwhile, some fans are starting to feel fatigue with Cody constantly in the title picture. So is this the perfect time for a change? It feels like it. Orton walking out as champion would shake things up in a big way. That wraps up Night 1, but Night 2 is just as stacked, so let's keep going. First, Monster vs. Beast encounter. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. Oba Femi has been unstoppable since arriving on the main roster, but here's a classic WWE pattern. Have you noticed how the person dominating before a big match often loses at WrestleMania? Femi has had the upper hand on Lesnar in recent weeks, which might actually be a bad sign for him. This could be where Brock Lesnar reminds everyone why he's still the beast incarnate. Next, six-pack ladder war, Intercontinental Championship on the line. Penta defends against Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Javon Evans. That's a stacked lineup, isn't it? Penta has been a fighting champion, defending the title consistently, and it feels like his reign is just getting started. Would WWE really end it this soon in such a chaotic match? It seems unlikely. Expect Penta to somehow survive and retain. Then, personal vendetta match, Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. The betrayal by Judgment Day has pushed Finn Balor into a deeply personal feud with Dominic. With hints at the return of his demon persona, things could get very interesting. And let's be honest, when the demon shows up, doesn't it usually mean trouble for the opponent? With the crowd firmly behind him, Balor seems poised for a big WrestleMania win. Next up, US title fight, Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Sami Zayn clawed his way back into relevance, capturing the US title despite being told he had no place at WrestleMania. That underdog story alone makes you wonder, would WWE cut his reign short already? Trick Williams has momentum, especially with outside help, but Sami just got the title back. It feels too soon for him to lose it, doesn't it? Expect him to retain. Now, Women's Championship mega match, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Jade's reign hasn't quite connected with fans as many expected. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley remains one of the most dominant and MHOBU figures in the division. With Io Shirai back by her side, the momentum is shifting. So here's the big question. Is this the perfect moment to reset the division? Crowning Ripley could inject fresh energy into the title scene, and that seems like the likely direction. Finally, Night 2 main event, Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship. This is as big as it gets. Randy Orton earned this opportunity by winning the Royal Rumble, and his rivalry with CM Punk has become incredibly personal. But there's a major factor here, Roman's part-time schedule. CM Punk, on the other hand, has been carrying Raw week after week, putting in the work as champion. Would it make sense to take the title off him now? Probably not. Punk retaining feels like the smarter move, especially considering everything he's contributed. So when it's all said and done, does this card deliver the kind of WrestleMania moments fans are hoping for? And more importantly, do you agree with these predictions, or do you see some shocking upsets coming? And even beyond those headline matches, you can't help but feel like WrestleMania 42 has that unpredictable energy surrounding it, the kind where even the most obvious outcomes could flip in an instant. Because let's be real for a second. When was the last time a WrestleMania went exactly how everyone expected? That's part of the magic, right? The surprises, the shock wins, the moments that get people talking long after the show ends. So as we continue breaking this down, it's worth asking yourself, which of these matches feels like it could completely swerve the audience? Could there be a last-minute twist we're not seeing coming yet? Looking back at Night 1 again for a moment, the undisputed WWE Championship match between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes feels like one of those matches where a single moment could define the entire weekend. Imagine Orton hitting that one decisive RKO out of nowhere. Do you think the crowd would erupt or be split? And if Cody somehow retains, where does that leave Orton moving forward? Would that loss push him even deeper into a darker, more dangerous version of himself? These are the kinds of ripple effects that make predictions so interesting, because every result leads to a completely different future. And then there's the women's division, which honestly might steal the show across both nights. Stephanie Vacker potentially retaining against Liv Morgan would solidify her as a true cornerstone of the division. But what happens to Liv if she falls short again on the biggest stage? Does she spiral, or does she come back even stronger? And on the flip side, if Rhea Ripley walks out as champion on Night 2, does that immediately set up a collision course with Vacker down the line? That's a match a lot of fans would love to see, wouldn't it? Shifting gears to the tag team scene, the Fatal 4-Way match could quietly end up being one of the most chaotic and entertaining bouts of the entire event. With so many personalities involved, it only takes one misstep for everything to fall apart. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria feel like the smart pick, but what if WWE decides to lean into nostalgia instead? Can you imagine the reaction if the Bella Twins somehow pulled it off? Would fans embrace it, or would it feel like a step backward? These are the risks that come with multi-team matches, and that's exactly why they're so fun to watch. Now, think about the six-man tag match involving LA Knight, the Usos, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Speed. This one has mainstream attention written all over it, especially with Speed involved. But here's a simple question. Do celebrity moments enhance WrestleMania, or do they take away from the full-time talent? Regardless of where you stand, there's no denying that a win for the Vision side could create huge momentum going forward, especially if they deliver in a big way on the night. Over on night 2, the clash between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar feels like a true test of legitimacy. If Femi somehow defeats Lesnar clean, does that instantly make him a top-tier star? Or does Brock winning remind everyone that dominance still runs through him? Either way, that result could shape the future of the roster in a massive way. And speaking of chaos, the Intercontinental Championship ladder match might just steal the entire weekend. With 6 competitors willing to risk everything, you have to wonder, who's going to take the craziest bump? And more importantly, who's willing to do whatever it takes to climb that ladder and grab the gold? Penta retaining feels logical, but ladder matches are anything but predictable, aren't they? One slip, one mistimed move, and everything changes. Then there's the deeply personal battle between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. If Balor does bring back the Demon, that alone could become one of the most talked about moments of WrestleMania. But here's something to think about. What if Dominic actually manages to win despite that? Would that cement him as a legitimate star, or would it spark even more backlash from fans? Either outcome tells a compelling story, and that's what makes this match so intriguing. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams also carries that classic underdog energy. Sami has fought so hard to get back into this position, so if he retains, it reinforces that resilience. But if Trick wins, does that signal a changing of the guard in the United States title scene? It's one of those matches where either result could make sense depending on the story WWE wants to tell next. And then we circle back to the biggest matches of the weekend, the ones that will define WrestleMania 42 as a whole. Rhea Ripley potentially reclaiming the Women's Championship could reset the entire division, while CM Punk retaining against Roman Reigns would solidify his current run as one of the most impactful in recent memory. But again, nothing is guaranteed. What if Roman actually wins and walks out as champion despite his limited schedule? Would that frustrate fans, or would it add even more prestige to his character? And if Punk loses after carrying Raw for months, does that undo everything he's built, or does it open the door for an even bigger comeback story? At the end of the day, WrestleMania isn't just about who wins and who loses. It's about moments. It's about the reactions, the surprises, the unforgettable scenes that live on long after the final bell rings. So as we head into WrestleMania 42, the real question isn't just who walks out with the titles, it's which moments are going to define this event for years to come. Will we see shocking betrayals, unexpected returns, or career-defining performances? And most importantly, when it's all over, which match will you still be talking about the next day? Let me know what you think. Which predictions do you agree with? Which ones would you change? And